I don't know how the next 30 years will pan out. I think the debate between science and religion is part of a wider debate about the role of religion within contemporary culture. And within the West, we own a particular tradition and history which has led at the moment to a post-Christian culture. What I mean by that is that we've been through a period of dominance of the Christian faith, and now a period where the Christian faith has been rejected, and often with great animosity to its abuses of power in the past. At the same time, I see real engagement with questions of spirituality within our culture. Questions where people want to ask the big questions, elements of exploring spirituality in ways outside the Christian churches. A friend of mine says that Western culture has a great spiritual hunger, but the last place it thinks it's going to get a good meal is in the Christian church. Now, whether that situation will change or not, I don't know. But what I am convinced about is that at the very nature of what it means to be human is that God-given gift to ask the big questions about the universe, to explore those fascinating questions which have been with us ever since the first conversation about these things. And those big questions, I think, will continue. I do think that science will always provoke religious questions. I don't think we'll get to a stage where science has got all of the answers to everything. The beginning of the 20th century taught us that. Beginning of the 20th century, people thought that physics had everything sewn up. There were just a couple of small problems. One was the orbit of the planet Mercury. The other was a particular odd thing about the ejection of electrons from a metal plate. People thought it would just be a few years before both of those were tied up, and then we'd know everything about everything. From the orbit of Mercury came a theory called the general theory of relativity. From those electrons coming from a glass plate, from a metal plate, came a theory called quantum theory. Two of the great revolutionary theories of 20th century physics. And we suddenly realized that actually we don't know everything about everything. Science is progressing all of the time, it's exciting, but also because fundamentally I believe that this is creation, that there is a creator God, I think science will always tap those big questions, and therefore there'll always be religious questions. Now that's a statement of faith in the midst of a changeable world. And quite how those questions will go on, I don't know. If you look back in history, you find a very fruitful relationship between science and Christian faith, with at times a very bloody battle between the two. The relationship is very complex, but I look forward with great hope at the way that science can enrich my Christian faith and the way that my Christian faith can continue to enrich my excitement with science.